My name's Aaron Snyder, and I have the easiest life ever.
Growing up in America, I've had a pretty worry-free life, physically able to do almost anything I want. I'm surrounded by great friends I've made along the way, and growing up in a loving and faithful family that has provided me with everything I need to succeed. But this is a leadership project. It is said that good leaders should embrace conflict as a pathway to wisdom and growth. Great leaders are not born into greatness. They are molded by the fires of tribulation. The first example of this is Theodore Roosevelt. He was born as described as a sickly, weak boy, suffering tremendously from physical ailments such as asthma. Through his physical illness, Teddy studied hard and physically overcame the sickness, going on to an illustrious presidential career, as well as knowing 6 languages, becoming an expert naturalist, authoring 35 books, winning a Nobel Prize, and the Medal of Honor for his service as a Rough Rider.
He was the bold leader America needed.
Next is Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King was a Southern minister who fought through racial adversity with peaceful protests for equality. King was jailed over 20 times, stabbed, and had his house firebombed. His struggles awarded him to be the youngest recipient of the Nobel Prize in Equality for all men.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
A final example of growing in leadership through conflict is that of my 5th-generation grandfather. Captain James Riley was a merchant trader from Connecticut who had a ship wrecked off the coast of the Sahara Desert. Outmanned and overpowered, Riley and his crew were taken as slaves by the native Swahili people. Riley and the remaining crew had to walk across the desert, leaving them beaten, sunburned, and starved. After paying his freedom, Riley's memoirs of the account were published as Sufferings in Africa in 1819 and is attributed to influencing Abraham Lincoln on slavery. On the other side of Africa is the country of Ethiopia. This is where I will be spending a month and a half of my summer, leading and discipling students in the capital city of Addis Ababa on short film making with Campus Crusade for Christ and the Global Short Film Network. Although I will be there with 20 other American videographers, it will be a challenge just getting there. The trip cost $5,800, all of which I hope to raise from family and friends. Living in a city of 4.5 million people compared to 12,000, the language barrier, and the 7,400 miles away from home are all conflicts I have to overcome while I'm there. I'm not going there for the conflict, but it's bound to happen, and I intend to learn and grow from the conflict as a leader. I know I will not start a revolution like Dr. King, nor lead a nation like Teddy Roosevelt, but I do know this experience will change me in new ways to grow as a leader. As Warren Bennis said, hard times are the crucible in which character and leadership are formed.